They always say, she doesn't care, just move on. But what if I told you she actually does care? What if I told you right now that her silence isn't confidence, it's fear? She's not ignoring you because she's over you. She's quiet because she's waiting. Waiting to see if you're still trapped, still desperate, still playing her game. And the second you make the wrong move, you confirm what she already suspects. But that ends today. If you're watching this, it's because you're done being played. You're done wasting your energy on someone who thrives on your reaction. And now you're about to learn how silence, pure calculated, and controlled silence becomes your greatest power move. This is how you flip the script. This is how you make her question everything. And this is how you walk away with your power, your self-respect, and your dignity fully intact. This isn't just about relationships. This is about life. Control, power, respect. It all comes down to one thing: how you react when someone tries to test you. So sit back, lock in, and pay attention. Because by the time you finish this video, you will never chase anyone again. Before we dive in, drop a comment: I will never chase again. Let the world know. Let yourself know. Every single day, millions of people fall into the same trap. Someone they care about pulls away, becomes distant, and suddenly everything changes. They find themselves checking their phone nonstop, overthinking every interaction, analyzing every word, every pause, every silence. And every time they do exactly what's expected of them, they react. That's the problem. Modern relationships often revolve around power dynamics. The moment you react, you give up control. The moment you chase, you lose value. And the second you show someone how much their absence affects you, you hand them all the leverage. This is why the most powerful people in the world, whether in business relationships or life, don't react. They observe, they adapt. And when someone tries to play games with them, they do one thing that changes everything: they go silent. And that's what we're going to break down today. 1, she expects you to react. She pulls back. She delays her replies. She becomes distant, cold, and suddenly unavailable. Maybe she used to send you good morning texts. Now nothing. Maybe she used to make plans. Now she's always busy. But here's the key: she still watches your stories. She still finds subtle ways to be seen, making sure you notice she's out having fun, looking good, living life. She's not just living, she's performing for you. She's expecting a reaction. She's waiting for that little break in your self-control. The moment you slip even slightly and ask her what's wrong, that's when she wins. Because the second you react, she knows she still has control. She knows she hasn't lost you. And that means she can keep playing. She's testing how much you'll tolerate, how long you'll wait, how much of her silence, her absence, her inconsistency you'll accept before you finally break. Most men break. They start checking their phone every few minutes. They analyze the last conversation over and over, wondering what they said wrong. They panic, convinced that if they don't act now, she'll be gone forever. So they reach out, they double text, they ask if she's okay, they apologize for things they didn't even do. She doesn't respect this. She expects it. And when she sees it, she loses interest. A woman only plays these games with a man she hasn't fully decided on. A man she's still unsure about. A man she's still testing. A man she doesn't fully respect. She wants to know if you're the kind of man who needs her attention to feel whole. And the second you show her that you do, it's over. Now she's not just pulling back. She's running because you just told her, without saying a word, that her attention is your lifeline, that without it, you fall apart. Women do not chase men who fall apart. They chase men who don't care if they stay or go. She might think she has you figured out. She might believe she's seen this before. She expects you to react, to prove your worth, to try to pull her back in. But when that doesn't happen, when you stay calm, when you go silent, when her absence has no visible effect on you, that's when everything changes. That's when she starts to feel something unexpected: doubt. 2, your silence breaks her control. Silence is powerful. In fact, it's terrifying. That's why most people struggle to be alone. It's why social media is so addictive. It's why people constantly surround themselves with distractions so they don't have to face their own thoughts. When you go silent, you force her to sit with herself. She expected you to chase. She expected you to check in, to validate her, to keep proving your worth. But now something unexpected is happening. She's the one checking her phone more than you. She's rereading your messages, trying to figure out where she lost control. She's the one caught in the loop now. Sure, she might act like she doesn't care. She might post a picture with another guy. She might go out with friends dressed to impress. And yes, she wants you to see it, but it's not about fun. It's about testing you. She's watching to see if it worked. She's waiting to see if you'll reach out. She's hoping to trigger a reaction. Because if you respond, it means she still has influence over you. If you don't, that's when her confidence starts to crack. The silence starts to eat at her. The longer you don't respond, the more she begins to panic. Because now she's in your shoes, the same shoes you were in when you waited for her texts. The same anxiety you once felt is now hers. That shift is powerful. But this is where most men fail. She'll send a vague message, something light, casual, and safe. Maybe it's, "Hey, hope you're doing well," or "Just saw something that reminded me of you." It's not an apology. It's not a real effort. It's bait. Most guys see that and light up. They think, "This is it. She wants me back." So they reply instantly. They try to restart the conversation. They feel like they've won. But the moment she sees that fast reply, she knows the truth. She still has you. You were still waiting. And just like that, she disappears again. Because she wasn't coming back for you. She was coming back for her ego. She just needed confirmation that you were still there. And now that she has it, she doesn't need to keep talking to you. That's why the strongest move you can make is no move at all. Silence speaks louder than any message ever could. 3, she will start to doubt herself. She thought she had time. She thought you would always be there waiting, hoping, hovering just on the edge of her attention. She believed that no matter what she did, no matter how long she ignored you, you would still be around. She convinced herself that you were just like every other guy who craves her validation. But now the silence is different. It's loud. It's heavy. It lingers longer than she expected. Something starts to shift inside her. At first, it's a quiet doubt, a small flicker. Why hasn't he reached out? Then it grows. Has he moved on? The tension builds. Was I wrong about him? The tension turns into something deeper: fear. Fear that she misjudged you. Fear that she lost control. Fear that she let go of something valuable and cannot get it back. Nothing rattles a woman more than the realization that the man she thought she had wrapped around her finger is no longer there. She expected you to break. She expected you to fight for her. She expected you to try to fix things. But you didn't. You stayed silent. You pulled back completely. You gave her the one thing she never prepared for: the unknown. And the unknown consumes her. It's the same force that keeps people hooked on movies waiting for the next twist. The same reason we check our phones when someone goes silent. Uncertainty creates obsession. Now she's the one watching your social media. She might not like your posts, but she's watching closely. She's looking for any clue, any sign that you still care. She scrolls through your old pictures. She revisits the last messages. She replays every interaction in her head. And when her friends, the same ones who once said, "He'll come back," start to question your silence, the doubt multiplies. The longer you say nothing, the clearer it becomes. You no longer need her. And that truth, it shakes her to the core. Because when a man no longer needs a woman who thought she had control, everything shifts. The power dynamic flips. And in that silence, she begins to feel what you once did: uncertainty, fear, and the sting of being underestimated. 4, when she tries to pull you back. She does not like this feeling. She does not like feeling like she lost. She does not like believing she made a mistake or let something valuable walk away. In her mind, she was the one in control. She was the one who set the pace. She thought she could pull back, act distant, and you would come running. That was the plan, but something unexpected happened. You didn't chase, you didn't reach out, you didn't try to fix anything, you disappeared. And that shakes her more than anything else could. Now uncertainty creeps in. She no longer knows where she stands with you. She no longer feels secure in the idea that you're still emotionally tied to her. She realizes, maybe for the first time, that she might have actually lost you. That was never part of her plan. She thought she had time. She believed she could test you and you would keep proving yourself. But now, with your silence stretching longer and longer, she feels it, the weight of her own decisions. Still, she will not come out and say it. She won't admit she was wrong. She won't send a long message apologizing for how she treated you. That would mean giving up control. That would mean surrendering the power she worked so hard to keep. So instead, she tests you. Maybe she watches your stories again. Maybe she likes an old photo. Maybe she sends a simple, vague message like, "Hope you're doing well," or "Just saw something that reminded me of you." It is not direct. It is not sincere. It is a test. She wants to know if you still care. She wants to see if she still has access to your mind and emotions. Most men fail this test. They see the message. Their heart skips a beat. They reply instantly, thinking this is the moment she comes back. But the second she sees that quick reply, she knows the truth. She never lost you. You were still waiting. You were still hoping. And just like that, she pulls back again. Because it was never about missing you. It was about checking if she still had power. But when you don't respond, when you leave her on red, when you remain silent, everything changes. Now she has no answer. Now the uncertainty is hers. And for the first time, she realizes the game she played might have cost her everything. If she truly regrets losing you, she will not send breadcrumbs. She won't drop vague hints or test the waters. She will make it obvious. She will show up with clarity. She will say it directly. She will tell you she made a mistake and that she wants another chance. But until that happens, your response should be the same silence. Because silence is what keeps her questioning. And that questioning is what makes her chase. Even more important, it is what sets you free. By the time she finally begins to understand what she lost, it's already too late. While she was busy doubting herself, playing games, and trying to figure out how much control she still had, you were building. You were focusing on your life. You were in the gym, working on your goals, building your mindset, and elevating every part of yourself. You were becoming the man she never expected, and that is the part she never saw coming. You were not sitting around waiting for her. You were not hoping she would come to her senses. You were not clinging to the past. You were moving forward, and in doing so, you became untouchable. That's the regret. She will carry the man. She lost the version of you she never even got to meet. The version she created without realizing it because her absence forced you to evolve. Her games made you stronger. Her silence made you more focused. Her rejection gave you clarity. And by the time she is ready to fight for you to prove herself, to say all the things she should have said before, you will have already outgrown the need to hear them. Because this is no longer about her. It is about you. It is about the man you have become by choosing not to react. It is about the self-respect you gained by not giving your energy to someone who took you for granted. It is about knowing your value and walking away without looking back. She may chase you now. She may come back with apologies, promises, and new intentions. But the power is in your hands. And the most powerful choice you can make is knowing that you no longer need her to feel complete. 5. Mastering emotional detachment. Everything changes the moment you detach. When you stop needing approval, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying to convince someone of your worth, you gain something most people never will: freedom. Emotional detachment is not about being cold or heartless. It is about reclaiming control over your own life. It is the highest form of power a man can possess. Men who are emotionally detached do not beg. They do not overanalyze texts. They do not panic when someone pulls away. They observe. They remain grounded. And most importantly, they stay in control of themselves. If you don't master this, you will always be vulnerable. You will always be the guy who checks his phone every 5 minutes. You will always be the one feeling anxious when she stops responding. You will always be the one wondering, what did I do wrong, while she moves on without a second thought? Because she is not overthinking you are. She is not obsessing you are. She is not suffering you are. And why? Because you made her attention your source of validation. Here is the truth: you do not need to win her back. You do not need to prove yourself to her. You need to let her go. The moment you do, everything shifts. You take back the power you gave away. You stop living for someone else's approval and start living for your own growth. Women do not chase men who are emotionally weak. They do not chase men who constantly seek their validation. They chase men who are strong-centered and certain. They chase the man who does not need them. And when you become that man, something rare happens. You become a challenge. You become the man she regrets walking away from. Not because you begged her to stay, but because you didn't. That is the man she thinks about when she's alone. That is the man she compares every other guy to. That is the man she wonders what if about. And by the time she realizes it, you are already gone. Because the real reward was never her attention. The real reward was the man you became when you stopped needing it. Emotional detachment is the key to power. Most men live their entire lives ruled by emotion. They react to everything. A text left on read sends them spiraling. A delayed reply makes them anxious. A woman pulling away causes them to lose all composure. They chase, they beg, they try to fix things that were never theirs to control. And in doing so, they give away their power. But emotional detachment changes everything. It is not about being heartless. It is about clarity. It is the difference between being led by emotions and leading yourself with intention. When you master emotional detachment, people no longer control your mood. They can no longer pull you into their drama. They lose the ability to manipulate your energy. You become untouchable. This is not just about relationships. This is about every area of life: friendships, family, business, social interactions. When people realize they cannot shake you, they begin to treat you differently. They recognize your stability. They respect your calm. They value your presence because it is not desperate, it is deliberate. That is what makes you rare. Most people in today's world are constantly chasing validation. They need likes, attention, approval. They need someone to tell them they are enough. But the man who needs nothing commands everything. When you stop seeking validation, your energy shifts. You become centered. You no longer chase people. They are drawn to you. They sense your confidence. They feel your certainty. And in a world full of people who are emotionally unstable, your composure becomes magnetic. The moment you stop playing by someone else's rules is the moment you start creating your own life. You do not wait for closure. You do not beg for second chances. You do not try to prove yourself to someone who failed to see your worth. You walk away, silently, completely, and without resentment, because you know who you are. You know what you offer. And if someone cannot see it, that is not your burden to carry. Let them go. Let them wonder. Let them feel the silence that used to be filled with your attention. While they are second-guessing, you are growing. While they are thinking about you, you are building something better. While they are watching your stories, you are living your story. That is the real victory. By the time they regret it, you won't care. Not because you are cold, but because you are whole. You did not become powerful by chasing anyone. You became powerful by choosing yourself. That is emotional detachment. That is real strength. That is what makes you untouchable. 7. The real reward was never her attention. The final lesson is simple but powerful. The goal was never to get her back. The goal was never to win her approval, to prove your worth, or to convince her to stay. The real reward was not her attention. It was the transformation that happened when you stopped needing it. Because while she was pulling away, you were pulling within. While she was testing your patience, you were building your discipline. While she was creating distance, you were closing the gap between who you were and who you were meant to be. That is the real victory. Most men never understand this. They think strength is about getting the girl back. They believe power is in making her want them again. But true power is in walking away without needing revenge, without needing recognition, and without needing closure. Because you are not who you used to be. You are not the man who needed her to feel whole. You are not the man who would sacrifice his peace just to stay in someone's life. You are not the man who chases anyone who treats him like an option. You are now a man with boundaries, a man with purpose, a man who respects himself too much to ever beg for someone who could not see his value. And that is what she will never forget. Not because you tried to make her regret it, but because you didn't. You left quietly. You moved on without explanation. You became stronger, wiser, and more focused. You stopped reacting and you started leading. You stopped waiting and you started building. You stopped chasing and you became the one who was chased. That shift is what changes everything. When she finally realizes what she lost, when the silence becomes too loud, when the doubt becomes unbearable, you will already be gone. And not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You are no longer the man she knew. You are the man she only sees now in hindsight. And that right there is the kind of regret that lasts forever. In today's world, emotional discipline is no longer optional. It is essential. The moment you begin relying on someone else's attention or affection to feel validated, you give them power over your mind. That is why mastering silence and emotional detachment is so transformative. When someone pulls away, when their energy shifts, or when they start playing games, your greatest strength is not chasing. It's not reacting. Your silence becomes a mirror and forcing them to face themselves without your emotional energy to feed off of. In your own life, apply this by recognizing the difference between healthy connection and manipulation. If someone is testing your worth, pulling back just to provoke you, or offering breadcrumbs of attention to keep you hooked, stop participating. Let your absence speak louder than your words ever could. Focus on your personal growth. Build your physical strength, emotional stability, financial security, and mental clarity. Use this time to evolve into the man who no longer needs to explain, prove, or chase. True power is silent. The people who deserve to be in your life will never force you to beg for clarity, and those who walk away when you refuse to react were never truly invested to begin with. Don't fear losing people who treat you like you are replaceable. Fear losing yourself by trying to keep them. When you build a life so full, so purpose-driven, and so grounded in self-respect, you will stop obsessing over who stays or who goes. You will no longer be swayed by silence because you've made peace with your own. That is when you become untouchable, not because you are closed off, but because you finally understand your worth. From this moment on, move forward with calm certainty. You do not chase, you lead.